Hello and welcome to the Lake District Yogi. My name's Kat. If this is the first time that you are practicing with me, then you are so welcome. Welcome to my cozy little home studio in the Lake District. If you are returning to practice with me again, then thank you. I am super grateful. Today's class is going to be very much about balancing. It's going to be a very balance heavy flow. So balancing is really important for so many reasons. Obviously, as we age and we get older, it's really important that we can, manage and we don't, fall over. So it's great for that. It's obviously great if you're involved in any kind of sport that requires that kind of precision balancing. It's just a really great thing to do, isn't it? But what I love it for is I find balancing poses really help me focus my mind. Hopefully you might feel that when you're doing some of these shapes. When you are focusing entirely on staying upright and balancing, there isn't much space left for your mind to wander and think. So I find some good balancing poses or a good balance heavy sequence can be really beneficial if you need to get yourself into the zone, if you need to get yourself prepared for something or get really focused. So that's what we're going to do today. As always, we will start with a general warm-up. If you have blocks, a couple of blocks might be useful for this class. They're by no means essential. There will be adaptations and variations that you can do, but if you have blocks, you might just want to pause this video and go and grab them. I will have a sip of tea. We're going to start in a cross-legged shape, so get whatever you need ready, whatever props or blankets, whatever, get your hot drink, and I will see you back here in a second. Okay. So just finding your way into an easy cross-leg shape, let the hands rest on the knees. Just close the eyes just for a moment. And just take a couple of breaths as you really fully land in your body. And if you don't really know what I mean by that, just try to think about all the external stimulus that is constantly invading our space. And that can be noises from outside, unless you're living incredibly remotely. There's always noise, there's movement in the building, maybe there's cars going past. But also within ourselves, there is normally quite a lot of movement and activity and noise. So just as you gather yourself here, just see if you can just drop some of that mental chatter, some of that worry, some of that kind of clinging on to these outside noises and sounds, and see if instead you can travel into your inner landscape. And even if it's just momentary, can you drop that mental chatter? Can you focus in on how your physical body feels? Can you focus in on your breathing, flowing in and out of the nose? And allow these first few minutes to fully arrive in presence. Okay, opening the eyes. Keep the hands on the front of the knees. Next in-breath, just let the heart become a little bit proud. Maybe lift the chin a fraction. And as you exhale, you can round the spine. You can press the heels of the hands into the thighs if you want. Bring the chin to the chest. Inhale, pull on the knees. Let the heart shine forward. Exhale, round the spine. So you can go as big or small with this movement as you want, depending on what time of day you're doing this or how comfortable this feels in your back and your neck. Maybe making each one a little bit bigger as we progress. Okay, next time you come back to the center, pause there. Plant the right hand down on the ground beside you. Keep both sitting bones, nice and grounded. And then inhale this left arm alongside the ear. Visualize that long length from the left hip right to the tips of the left fingers. Reach into the fingertips. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, just start to turn the torso, placing the left hand, it doesn't need to reach the ground, just moving the left hand towards the right. And then inhale, open back out. And then keep moving with your breath, exhaling to curl down, inhaling to open. Excuse me, I think I need to have a little sip of water. And then finding fluidity here. So really peeling the arm open, finding a sort of almost ballerina feel to this expansion and opening right to the tips of your fingers. Okay, next time you come up, rainbow to the other side, plant the left hand down, extend through the right side of the body, right to the tips of the fingers. Take that grounded breath in. And as you breathe out, start to turn. Bring that right hand down somewhere towards the mat and then open back out. So we're kind of twisting from the belly here and then hopefully enjoying that really joyful sense of expansion and openness as we come back up. Finding some joyful movement. Okay, do one more. And then come back to neutral. Place your hands on your knees and just feel in. We've just done that little bit of spinal movement, so just feel deeply. Can you feel any shifts, any changes of energy or temperature? Just constantly attuning ourselves to our own lived experience, our own inner landscape and our own bodies. So we're constantly getting that feedback. Okay, we're going to roll over our knees and find all fours. So we're looking for knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. Okay. So look down, check that your hands are really nicely planted, middle finger facing forward. Find that deep connection, press into the earth with your hands, keep the arms nice and active and the legs active, draw in the lower belly and then keep the face nice and soft. Okay, when you're ready, inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin just a little. Exhale, press into the hands, round the spine to the ceiling. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, maybe close the eyes to help you feel. Press into the earth as you exhale, round the spine. Inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. Exhale, round the spine. Come back to a neutral spine. Send the right arm forward and the left leg back. Really start to engage that corner, drawing in the lower belly, just keeping that light engagement. Find your gaze point. So we're starting off with our little kneeling balance here. So find the things that help keep you stable. Equal amounts of movement, sort of reaching forward with the fingers and reaching back with the flat of the foot or maybe pointing the toes. Keeping that core engaged, finding your drishti, your gaze point, and locking in there. And then gently lower the hand and the knee. We'll do one more round of cat-cow. Let's give the spine a little reset. And then send the left arm forward and the right leg back. Same thing, lock in. Find the things that help you stay balanced and focused. Nice. Gently bring the hand and the knee down. Tuck the toes. And we're going to gently come up into a downward dog. We're going to keep the legs nice and soft and bent. You can do some pedaling if you want here. Any amount of movement that helps you just ease into the backs of the legs. And then finding stillness. We're gently going to touch the knees back down as we inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze all in one in-breath. And then as we exhale, we start to round the spine and then lift the hips back up, keeping the knees soft. Inhale, touch the knees down immediately, sweeping the heart through between the shoulders. Exhale, start to round and then come up to your downward dog. So keep moving like this for a few more breaths. Maybe close the eyes to fully feel. Try to be completely present with this movement and with your breath. Maybe you feel that each time you come up into downward dog, there's a little bit more ease in the backs of the legs. Okay, we'll do one more. So come back to your breath, come back to your body if you've drifted. And then find your downward dog. We'll stay here for 2 or 3 breaths. So do any adjustments that you need. Maybe you are ready to start to straighten out the legs a little, maybe not. Maybe you still want to keep that bend in the knee. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is step our right foot between our hands. So however you get there, it could be that you need to come to your knee and help it forward. If you've practiced with me before, you'll know I always like to lift my leg out behind me. So stepping the right foot through, keeping up on the fingertips and keeping the back knee lifted. So you can keep the fingers where they are. If you wish, you can start to lift the arms overhead, feeling that strength in the legs. This could be a good place for blocks, if you want to keep your hands down on the blocks. And then if you have the hands lifted, bring the fingertips back down, and then we're springing up onto this front leg into a standing split. So again, a great place for blocks. You can always hold your leg if your fingertips don't reach the floor. If they do, you can keep a long spine, just like we do in a halfway lift when we're doing our vinyasa or our sun salutations. If you have the movement, you can do any amount of fold over that standing leg. And then we're going to come up to standing, peel that left knee into the chest. It doesn't matter if you wobble, if you have to put your foot down. It's only yoga, it's all okay. You can wrap your hands around your shin and draw your knee in. Standing really tall. And then make your way into tree. So either with your foot high on your thigh, or you can have it against your calf, or the toes on the floor, just not on your knee. That's not a good idea. Okay, so really engaging that standing leg. Feel that kneecap lifting, the big muscles of the thighs engaging. And then almost feel that little lift out of the waist as you grow tall from the crown of the head. Find your drishti, your gaze point. Find your breath. And feel yourself strong and rooted. Okay, a couple of options for what we're going to do next. We're going to take this foot off the leg. And either we're going to hold on to the outside of the knee with our right hand and peel our left arm behind us. Or you can take your 2 fingers of your left hand, wrap them around your big toe. Place your right hand on your hip and hold that knee up with your big toes. No, with your big toe, not toes. Okay, next thing, if you fancy a challenge, is to try to straighten that leg out. Really engaging through the standing leg. And then lastly, if that's a piece of cake, you might want to try to take the leg out to the side, really finding that gaze point. Okay, whichever one you are doing, release your foot, come through a warrior three. So swinging that leg out behind you. Maybe have your hands at your heart center. If you need to put your fingers down, you can do that too. And then drop that back foot down and turn to face the long edge of your mat. Toes out, heels in. Lift the arms overhead. And then come down into goddess squat. Place the hands at your heart. Do a little bit of sway into the hips. Just feel your way in. You can bring your hands to your thighs. You can lift and lower your heels, or try lifting both heels. That adds a whole other dimension. But just really explore here. If you've got your hands curled round this way, you can dip a shoulder in and see how that feels. So this is your goddess to explore. If you'd rather just stay completely still, that's fine. Just try to make sure the shoulders, unless you're actively dipping, are over the hips. Oh, nice. Okay, start to straighten the legs and then come into Skandasana, bending your left leg, right toes high. Either keeping the fingertips here on the floor or ground the left hand, kissing that arm and leg together, and peel open the right arm. So that's optional if you'd rather just stay with the fingers down. And then we're coming back up to this long edge of our mat. Parallel your feet this time. Take the hands to the hips or the waist, flat back. Again, another great place for blocks. If you have the reach, you can place your fingertips on the floor. And if you can fold down, maybe holding the outside edges of your feet or your ankles. So again, this is an exploration. You land wherever you land and you explore there. Okay, slowly bring the fingertips back to the ground if you were folded, and then back to the waist. Engage the core to lift up. Turn back to the front of the mat into your lunge. Bring the arms overhead. Bring the fingers down. Ground through the left hand. Lift the right. And then move into a side plank, either with the feet stacked on top of one another, or you can bring a foot to the ground if you need that support. Bring the right hand down with control. Move through your flow, either knees up or down. Move through your vinyasa. Back to downward dog. Pause here for a couple of breaths. Oh, feel into that side of your body. Okay, we'll do all that on the left. So when you're ready, step the left foot between the hands. Settle in here, keeping the fingers on the ground or on blocks, or engage to lift the arms. There's almost like a kind of scissoring feeling of the inner thighs working towards each other as you lift. Pressing back with that back heel, feeling really strong here. Then bring the fingertips back down. Spring onto that left leg. Keeping the spine long or folding over that leg if you can. Starting to feel into that balance, feeling the strength in that leg. And then we start to peel up to standing. Don't worry if your foot touches down. Draw that left knee in. Clasp around the shin. Stand really tall. And then move into tree. I'm going to move back just a fraction, but you don't have to. Okay, finding your tree. So finding all that engagement, standing legs, if you've got your foot on your thigh, that's a great place to create that dual movement, drawing in the core, shoulders back and down. Find your gaze point, something fixed that isn't moving, that can absorb your attention. Okay, gently start to lift that right knee, either take the left hand to it and peel the right arm open, or take the first two fingers of your right hand round your big toe. Draw it up. Feel that right inside the hip. And then if you want, you can start to try to extend that leg any amount. It's just a bit of fun. And then maybe open it out to the side. Just see how you get on. Embrace the wobble, use the techniques to help with the balance. Slowly bring that leg back with control. Let it go, the toe, and start to move into your warrior three. And then touch that back foot down, turn to the long edge of your mat. I do apologize, I have my back to you. Lift the arms overhead and sink down into goddess. Start your exploration. Any amount of swaying, lifting the heels, dipping the shoulders in. Okay, slowly start to straighten the legs and then dip down into Skandasana with your right leg bent, left toes facing up, fingertips on the ground, or root down that right hand, peel to the left. Slowly, using your strengths, come back up, parallel the feet, find that forward fold. Whatever works for you. It does not have to look like mine. Using blocks if you have them. Slowly engage the core. Come back up from wherever you are. Turn back to your high lunge facing your left foot. Bring the fingers down, ground through the right hand, peel the left arm open into this twist, and then step to plank. You can bring the foot to the floor if you need. Press into the right hand. Feel your strength. Slowly lower the left hand down. With control, move through your flow. Back to your downward dog. Oh, lovely. Okay, feeling now into both sides of your body. Feeling into your strength, your power, your groundedness, your presence. Okay, lift the right leg out behind you. We're coming into a pigeon. So we're going to bend this leg, plant the knee between the hands towards the right hand. If you need to pad under your right bum cheek with a blanket, we don't want to be falling over to the side. And then take your hands wide, like wider than your mat or as wide as your mat. Take a breath in, let the heart shine proud. And as you breathe out, bend the elbows, kind of leading with your heart center. Start to bring the chest down and then scoop the chin to come back up as we breathe in. So as you exhale, bend the elbows, lower the torso any amount. Inhale, scoop back up. 2 more, just like this. Really stay connected to your body and your breath. Close the eyes, slow this right down. Feel the movement. And pause when you've finished your last one. Bring the hands back closer, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, press into the hands to release that leg. Find downward dog. Pause here for a full round of breath. And then extend the left leg behind you. Bend the leg, plant the knee. Shifty this right leg back as much as you can. Stay nice and upright. Put the hands lovely and wide. Take a breath in, let the heart shine. And then as we exhale, we fold. Inhale, scoop back up. Breathing slowly. Moving slowly. Completely settled in peace and presence. Okay, next time you come up, pause here. And then let the hands come close, tuck the toes, lift the back leg, press into the hands to make space to step back. Nicely done. Beautiful job. Okay, we're going to come to a seat. So you can come to your knees and then let your legs swing round, or you can bend your legs and do a little hop and a jump, and we'll come right into boat. So you can hold here if you need, but we're looking eventually to have our shins parallel with the ground, our arms long, finding this sort of magnetic connection between our heart and our legs. So we're not tempted to slump back. Embrace the wobble. I did say there'd be a lot of balances. Okay, gently let the feet come down. With control, slide the legs forward. Okay, settle in here. Do any little adjusting that you need. Feel the engagement in the legs. Feet are not flopping open. We're completely engaged. We're not like rock. We're not creating tension. We're creating engagement. Draw in the belly. Feel that lifting out of the waist. Feel tall. And then either walking the hands forward or lift the arms overhead and then hinge forward until you reach your edge and then lower the hands. So whichever one you prefer. And then your hands can rest on the mat, on your legs. You might hold your toes. You could be up here with your hands on your thighs. Doesn't make any difference. I can't say that enough. Wherever you land, you're doing the same exploration and the same discovery when you get there. Okay, and we'll settle in here just for a few breaths. So just allow this to really feel like a settling. You know, we've done some quite strong movements. We've energized our body. We've shifted some energy. We've raised the heart rate possibly a little. And now we're just letting everything sink back down. If you like visuals, which I definitely do, you could imagine a sort of a snow globe or a pond that's been kind of agitated and then left to settle. Everything is just falling down. Maybe after a few breaths, a tiny little bit of space, a bit more movement, maybe you can move into that. And slowly release wherever you are holding. Come back up. Come back to a nice, easy cross-legged shape. Sweep the arms overhead, nice and slowly. Exhale into a twist. Left hand to our right knee, right hand behind. Twisting from the belly. So growing tall first, then twisting. Come back to center. Lift the arms. We'll twist the other way. Wringing out those last bits of tension that may be hanging on. And come back to center, lift the arms one last time. Let the hands find each other in space. Maybe close the eyes and then draw the palms down to the heart with a little bit of resistance. Moving slowly. Maybe when they get there, you would like to dip the head in. A little bow of gratitude, maybe to yourself. Whisper yourself a little sweet nothing. And open your eyes, release your hands. You made it to your mat. I mean, that in itself is quite something. We all have such hectic lives and things are so busy and there's so many different things and people and situations demanding of our time, pulling us in so many directions. So to actually unroll your mat and get on it is a win as far as I'm concerned. And I am so grateful that you chose to unroll your mat and practice with me. Nothing makes me happier than sharing yoga with you. So thank you so much. If you liked this video, drop it a like, share it with your friends. Let's build this little yoga community and get people moving their bodies and enjoying being alive, because really that's what this is all about. Giving us tools to live better lives. Oh, it's the best. Anyway, thank you so much. From my home to yours, from my heart to yours, lots of love wherever you are, and I will see you again soon. Bye.